girls, how is everyone today? So last night was Earth Hour on Saturday from 8:30 till 9:30, and millions of people all over the world turned off their lights, turned off their electronics, and used candles. And we do this to sort of raise awareness that we should be taking care of the earth. And I think as I was doing it last night, I was thinking how important it was last night, because the earth needs a lot of healing at the moment. So what I thought we would do is we would do a really nice fun task all about the earth and about how much we love the earth. So what you're going to need for today's task is you're going to need a plate. So this is a paper plate, so that we can paint on it. If you don't have any paper plates, then you can find something circular in your house and draw around it and cut it out. As long as it's circular, it doesn't really have to be a plate, that's fine. You're also going to need some scissors. Please ask permission before you use scissors. If you need help with scissors, make sure that you are asking. Do not go and start cutting things up without permission, okay? We're also going to need some glue. We're going to need some paints today. You can also probably do this with coloured pens. You could do it with crayons. I'm going to use my homemade paints. I'm also going to use my crayons as well for a bit we're going to be doing later on. And also you're going to need some paper, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to start off with the plate, and we're going to use this to make the world. So when you think about the world, what I want you to do before you do your task is go and have a look at different pictures of the world and the way that it looks from the sky. It's got a couple of different colours. Typically, it would be blue and green. But it's not just a mixture of blue and green just all over the place. It's got squiggly lines all around it. So I'm going to start off with my blue, because blue represents the water in the world. So I'm going to just paint in some blue in lots of different places, going right up to the edge of my plate, or if you're using just your circle, up to the edge of your circle. Okay, you want the whole thing to be painted. And remember, if you're using the homemade paints, give it a good stir before you try and use it. Otherwise that food colouring is going to be right at the top. I also find that my blue is a little bit runny, so I might add in a little bit more of my the dough into it to try the flour and the salt, just to try and thicken it up. You can make it as thick or as thin as you want. You don't want it to be too thick, but also you don't want it to be too thin, because when it's too thin, it just doesn't really paint as well. So once you've done your water, you're then going to take your green. Now, I have done my homemade paint, so my green is not your typical earth green, but that's all right. As long as it's green, then that should be fine. And like I said, I've chosen to use my paints, but you don't need to use paints. You can actually do this using crayons, pens, Sharpies. There's lots of different ways you can do it. You could actually even probably stick on different colours of paper as well. Be as creative with it as you can. But I'm using my paint to make my world. So I'm just going to quickly do this. You guys take your time so that I can get it all the way to the edge, all around. And when you are finished, it should look a little something like this, but yours will look way better because you're going to take much better care with yours. Oops, I just went and did that in the wrong place. So it looks something a little bit like that, okay? Then what you're going to do is you're going to put it to the side and you're going to let it dry. So I'm just going to go and put mine down over here. Okay, so the next thing we need then is we need to take a piece of paper, like so. And what we're going to do with the paper is we're going to paint a heart shape onto it. So this is when I'm going to put away my paints, my blue and my green, and I'm going to get my red paint. Okay, now you don't want your heart to be too big. You want it to be big that it can sit in the middle of your plate. Okay, so I'm going to I'll show you what size. So I'm just going to paint a heart. So that might be a wee bit too big, but actually you can cut you can cut it to the size that you need it to be if it's too big. So then just painting in your heart, paint, paint, paint. And again, I'm using my homemade paints, but you can use pen, you can use crayon, you can use Sharpie, you can use anything that you want. It doesn't need to be paint. So my heart's quite big, but that's generally what we're looking for. And again, I'm just gonna put it to the side for it to dry. Okay, so when they're dry, so here's one I made earlier, Blue Peter style, and I actually think this one looks a little bit like a face. Can you see like the two eyes and the nose and the mouth? Totally accidental, but I love it. So you need your world that you did, and then you also need your dry heart. And when you're finished doing your heart and it's nice and dry, this is when you're going to need the scissors, and you're going to carefully cut your heart out, okay? And again, please ask permission before you go and take some scissors. If you need help cutting, ask an adult to help you, okay? I don't want anybody coming to me and saying I made you all get scissors without permission. So once you've got your heart, what we're going to do is, because we love the world, we're going to stick it in the middle of our world, okay? And that's when we need some glue. So I'm just going to put some glue, stick it around, and then I'm going to stick it into the middle of my world, nice and gentle, so that it looks like that. Okay? Okay, so we've done our world, we've done our heart, and the last thing, oh, managed to get it all over my fingers. The last thing we're going to do then is we're going to create hands to look like we're holding on to the world, okay? Because we want it to represent as if we are holding the world to our hearts, okay? So to do this, I'm just going to put my plate to the side, and I'm going to take another piece of paper, and I'm going to draw around my hands. Okay. So for this, what you'll notice is when you're holding your plate, you can only see 4 of your fingers. Your thumb is behind. So we don't need to draw around our thumb. We only need to draw around our 4 fingers. So you're going to put it, you're going to need 2 pieces of paper for this. Well, I need 2 pieces of paper for this because I have bigger hands. If you've got smaller hands, you might be able to fit them both onto the 1 piece of paper, but you will need a decent amount of the wrist as well, and I'll show you why in a wee second. So what you're going to do is, I think I put my pen away, so I'll use a crayon, is you're just going to draw around your 4 fingers like so. Nice and simple. And then when you get to the thumb, you're going to stop, you're going to lift up, and then, so it looks something like that, and then you're going to just draw down the way, see that? For the wrist, okay? So what you're going to do after you've done that is you're going to just then carefully, and again, ask permission, is cut it out, okay? So just cutting out around the fingers until you have something that looks like this, okay? And you're going to do 2 of those. And then what you can do, and it's completely up to you, I chose to decorate my hands, and I chose to decorate them into like rainbows, because right now rainbows are everywhere. Rainbows are everywhere to show our support for the people who are out there trying to help with the coronavirus at the moment, okay? So we're talking about people who are in hospitals, people who are in shops and serving us. While we're all staying at home and staying safe, they're outside. So the rainbows, you'll find them everywhere as support for these people who are really helping us to stay safe at home. Okay, so that's why I chose to do rainbows, but you can do anything you want. And I chose to do mine in crayon, but you again can do anything you want. You can paint, you can do pen, you can do anything. You can just swirl, you don't even need to do anything. So then what you're going to do is you're going to get your plate again. And what we're wanting to do with this is we're wanting to wrap them around the world like this. So it looks like we're holding on to the world, okay? So what you need to do is you're going to fold your hands back so that you can see all the fingers, and you've got a little bit at the bottom, but you've got this bit is folded at the back, okay? And what we're going to do with it is we want the pinky to be at the bottom, so the smallest finger at the bottom, and that's going to be over your heart. And where you folded it, you're going to glue it at the back of your plate. So I'm going to put some glue onto the hand rather than the plate because I think that might hold it better. And then I'm going to, at the fold, glue it at the back, just checking it's over the heart, good. And then I'm going to put a little bit of glue just at this part of the hand. Okay, so not on the fingers because it'd be quite nice to have the fingers floppy. So this part of the hand. And again, I'm just going to stick that on so that that should hold it on. Oh, should hold it on, but didn't hold it on. Might need to put a wee bit more glue on that one. You might need to hold it for a little bit because it's on the bend of the plate. If you're doing it with just a normal circular circle on a piece of paper, it should probably stick on much quicker. There we go. Okay, and then I'm going to do the same with the other side. So I'm going to fold it in half, but remember to keep yourself enough space here, okay? And on the other side, I'm going to make sure that it's sitting at where the heart is. And I'm going to put glue onto the paper, not the plate. And glue that onto the plate, like so. And then I'm going to put some glue onto the hand at the front here. And this one doesn't I think I didn't glue it high enough up, so I think that's a wee bit better. So that you've got something that looks like this. And you can pull your fingers back a little bit so that you can see. I'm just pulling the fingers back just a little bit so that we can see the heart. And that is us holding the world in our hands because we love the world and the world needs a little bit of healing right now. So I hope everybody enjoys that task. I will be uploading some more tasks to go with these wonderful ones, and be creative and have fun with it. And remember, these are suggestions. If you want to use anything other than paints or anything slightly different, then be creative and send them to us so we can see them, because I would love to see your wonderful artwork. Okay, so have a wonderful day and I will see you soon. Love y'all, bye.